How you doing in Edmonton tonight? It's a little chilly. It's a little chilly. My name's Ezra Levant. I'm the Rebel Commander at rebelnews.com. And welcome to my book launch of The Libranos. Now the thing is, we were supposed to have the book launch inside the theater. But as you can see, we are outside the theater. Now this isn't supposed to be that way because I have in my hand here a contract with the theater owner, and I also have proof of payment on my credit card. So why am I outside instead of inside? That's a good question, and there's a bad answer to it.
5 minutes left.
Now, this isn't the first time we've been to the Princess Theater up here and its sister theater in Calgary called the Plaza. In fact, some of you might remember that we had a world, or sort of a Canadian premiere of a movie called Climate Hustle right here at this same theater a couple years back with the Rebel. And it was a great event, completely sold out. The staff loved it, and so did the owner. We did the same thing in Calgary too. So the company knows us, the staff knows us, and they know that the people who came are great, just like you all are tonight. When we booked tonight's venue, we talked to the owner, Mike Brar. He's an immigrant to Canada from India, hardworking guy, the best kind of Canadian there is. It's a tough business being in the alternative theater scene. And I asked him specifically, I said, look, Mike, my book is a little bit controversial. I challenge Justin Trudeau. I call him a Librano. That's a takeoff on the Sopranos. I want to let you know that you might have some critics. And you know what Mike said to me? He said, Ezra, I don't take sides in politics. In 30 years, I've never canceled an event. And I said, Mike, that's good to know because you're going to face some political pressure. Let's sign a deal. October 10th in Edmonton, October 15th in Calgary. We signed the contract and paid in full right away. And everything was looking great. Hundreds of ticket sales. People were excited to hear the other side of the story about Justin Trudeau. But then a couple days ago, I started seeing online NDP activists threatening Mike Brar. And I say NDP activists, some of them were anonymous. I don't know who all of them were. But some of them were brazen enough to use their own names. Jessica Littlewood, a former MLA under Rachel Notley, was saying it should be banned anywhere. A book talk banned? We're not in Venezuela. We're not in Iran. Right. We don't ban books. Or China. We don't ban books. If you disagree with a book, you ignore it, you respond to it, you debate it, you come and ask questions, you don't buy it, you give it a bad review. Those are things you can do, but we don't ban books in Canada. That is not the Canadian way. And soon Rachel Notley's shock troops at Progress Alberta, that election campaign group, they got in on the action too. In fact, they posted templates to get people to call up Mike Brar and push him and pressure him and threaten him to cancel the event. Now, I talked to Mike several times. I reminded him that we had a wonderful event here a couple years ago. I sent him photos. He shared it with the staff, but he said he was worried. I said, Mike, I get it. So we'll hire private security just to make sure nothing goes wrong. And in fact, tonight, you can see a couple of gentlemen who are keeping us safe, private security. And as you can see across the street, a nice big police wagon ready to take away the ruffians of the NDP. I thought, you know what? I know Edmonton. I know Alberta. I know the motto is strong and free. And I know.
Ezra Levant's a disgrace.
Well,
They're pathetic.
You know what? See that?
Liar.
Dave, what you're doing is legitimate. It's rude, but it's fine. What happened instead was threats against Mike Brar, and here's the point. And maybe, Rickshaw Dave, I'd like to know if you were one of them. I talked to Mike Brar last night. I talked to Mike Brar last night on the phone, the owner. And this is what he said. He said, Ezra, I am getting so many threats on the phone, I am literally unable to sleep. That's what the owner of the theater said to me. I said, Mike, they're just faking, they're just trying to scare you. I said, don't answer your phone if you're worried. He said, I can't
No
do that.
platform for neo-Nazis!
Well, actually, I'm a Jew, Rickshaw Dave. I'm a Jew. So you're gonna have to try a new insult, Dave. I'm a Jew, and Mike Brar, the owner, is of East Indian descent. Anyways,
Just say no to communists.
we got ourselves a street protest here, folks. I'm not going to do to Rickshaw Dave what they've done to Mike Brar. No threats. No threats.
As you can tell, he's a majority.
Between us
He's a huge
and the
majority.
NDP.
Right.
That's right, Dave. Where's
But you
that
might
in
be wondering,
That's right, you're full of shit!
you might be wondering, Ezra, when do I get my book?
Sheila gun free. Remember when you assaulted me
The
down in the
answer
legislature?
We have found another place around the corner that has agreed to let us in and do a book signing.
You guys want to say that?
Rosie.
Only got one of them.
And we'll all go march there together, get out of the cold, and we'll sign the books. But I want to tell you about one more thing first. Look, I have a contract in my pocket. I have the credit card receipt. I paid to rent this place for you. And those NDP thugs, the ones who are threatening Mike Brar so badly that he told me,
Mental illness on the rise.
don't be exciting, Rickshaw Dave. Don't be exciting, Rickshaw Dave. Hey guys, hey guys.
Look at this guy.
You know what? Can everybody please come back? All right. Rickshaw Dave.
Public sidewalk! Fuck you, asshole! There's a
I
public
think we
sidewalk.
found one of the people who was threatening Mike Brar. I think we found one of the people who was threatening Mike Brar.
Get him out of here! Stand in the peace.
Yeah.
Stand in the peace.
There you go. There you go. Enjoy your free meal courtesy of the taxpayers. All right. Guys, I want to tell you my plan. I want to tell you my plan.
There we go. As you can tell, he was the majority.
The plan is we're going to go to Rosie's around the corner, but I want to tell you what I'm going to do about the censorship called deplatforming. See, there's different ways to censor someone. You can shut down their website. You can ban their book legally. But the new form of censorship is called deplatforming, where they can't debate you, they can't rebut you, so they try and deny you a venue. Now, they couldn't stop me, they couldn't scare me, and they obviously couldn't scare you. So they scared Mike Brar. And I don't like it, but I understand it. Because he's not built for fighting. He's a theater impresario. He doesn't need thugs like Rickshaw Dave coming and threatening him. He's not built for that. No one is, really. So what do we do? Well, on Monday,
Hey, Rickshaw, where's Shannon Phillips today?
Justin Trudeau to the federal court because he tried to deplatform us from the federal leaders debate. And we won. We were in court with our young crowd-funded lawyers against 5 Government of Canada lawyers, and we won. Trudeau was ordered by the Federal Court of Canada to let us send our journalists to report. It's insane that I even have to ask permission from a court to report on the Prime Minister in the only English language debate he did. And my point to you is this: if you and me were unafraid to stare down Justin Trudeau and make him bend the knee, you really think we are going to give in to street thugs like Rick Saunders?
Absolutely not.
Oh no.
Now again, you and I did give in. We're all here. Mike Farrar gave in, and I'm not being too mad at him because he just wanted to rent a theater. But what happened? A breach of contract is what happened. I have a contract for this theater tonight, and it was breached by Mike Farrar. But Mike Farrar wasn't the root of the problem, was he? All the people who threatened Mike Farrar, Jessica Littlewood, the failed NDP MLA, Progress Alberta, the street thugs for Rachel Notley, they were the ones who threatened Mike Farrar. I know that because he told me.
Don't forget the mirror.
So what can I do about that? I'll tell you, I used to be a lawyer back in the day. I don't know which is more disreputable, a lawyer or a journalist. I'm a bit of both. But I know this. There is a civil lawsuit for a tort called inducing a breach of contract. If you know there's a contract between two people and you interfere and you cause someone to breach the contract, you, the interferer, have a civil action against you. That's called breach of contract. And here's the thing about those NDP. They're so stupid or brazen, whichever one, that they thought they would do this in public, on Twitter, on Facebook, in emails. They were so proud of what they were doing that many of them did it in their own names because they have never been held to account before. Well, guess what? That changes tonight. Every single person who was stupid enough to use their real name online, and every single person who was stupid enough not to hide their tracks, every one of them, whether it's dozens or hundreds, they will be sued for inducing breach of contract. Sheila and I had lunch with our legal team today, and we mapped out the plan, and that starts tomorrow. And let me say this. I once had the pleasure of listening to a speech by the Deputy Police Chief of New York City. And he explained how Rudy Giuliani turned that city around in terms of crime. And he said something I'll never forget.
What's that, Ezra?
I'll tell you. He said that in certain neighborhoods, all it took was one criminal, one thug, to make 100 families scared all the time.
Yeah.
One tough guy, one abuser, one drug dealer. All it took to make 100 families terrified at night was one guy. And so what I learned from the Deputy Police Chief of New York City was they arrest that one guy and suddenly 100 people are free. 100 people don't need bars on their window. And why do I tell you that story today? Because I know Alberta enough that this city of more than 1 million believes in free speech and free debate and different opinions. And so the NDP bullies who scared Mike Farrar said he can't sleep at night. I can't be be that mad at a guy who says he's so afraid he doesn't want to answer his phone. He's so afraid he can't sleep at night. I'm mad at him, but I know he's not the problem here. The problem are those 20, 30, I don't even think there's more than 100 in this whole city. But just like the deputy police chief of New York said, all it takes to terrify 100 people is one bad dude. And all it took to scare Mike Rohr, I think there was probably only 20 or 30 of them. And I'm going to find every goddamn one. Yeah! And I want to tell you this, I've already got half their names. And I don't care if they're rich or poor. I don't care if they're a professor, which one of them is, or a hairdresser, which one of them is. If you threatened Mike Rohr so badly that he can't sleep at night, so badly that he breached his contract with me, well, I'm mad at Mike, but I am coming for you, and I will sue you forever. So let me say this. We will find every single bully who bullied Mike Rohr, and we will name them, and we will sue them, and we will change their lives. Yeah. We will teach them what they have not been taught in school, which is you don't bully a man, you don't threaten a man, you don't breach a contract, and you know what? You live in a province whose motto is strong and free. And I point to you that we will not only stop those 20 or 30 or 40 bullies from ever bullying anyone again, but we will send a message that you do not speak for Edmonton or Alberta or Canada, and we will send a message. This will not stop every bully. I told you we have to go to court to stop the biggest bully of all, Justin Trudeau, and we nailed him in Ottawa on Monday. But let the word go out that if you think you can burn books in Canada in 2019, if you think you can shut people up without a debate and by blocking them, you will have to tell it to a judge. My friends, let me check the time. It's 5:13. It's clear that Mike is not coming up here today, and I'm going to call him and I'm going to tell him he has more than 100 people out in the cold, and I know we sold many more tickets. I think people saw the news and they thought, I'm not going out in the cold till it's canceled. We will talk to Mike some more because we've got an event in Calgary in 5 days, and we're going to Calgary, I'll tell you that. But let me look straight into the camera and say, if you think that you will deplatform me or anyone else in this country, get a lawyer. You're gonna need one. All right, my friends. Let me now invite everybody to walk in a safe and orderly manner around the corner to Rosie's, where they were not threatened into submission. And I don't care if you're liberal, New Democrat, or whatever you are, I'll take any question you have. I'll sign a book for you, except for Rickshaw Dave. All right, my friends, thank you for coming out into the cold. Thank you for supporting Rebel News. Let's go and have some fun. Rosie, stop here.
How are you?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Said this was going to be a